Anyway, welcome to Let's Talk Racing, everybody.
There we are. I say, Roger, you're missing something.
Hey, the camera's good enough to pull it without them, so what the heck? You just got owl blinded now, you know. All right, Kaz, we're up and rolling now. How you doing tonight?
Do we have you?
Is he there?
Hello, Kaz.
Okay, for a second. Ooh, I was worried.
How's the how much practice you get in today?
We had practice today, and it went pretty well. We took a few big swings at it there at South Boston Speedway, but by the end I felt like we were pretty good. We still got another 3 hours of practice tomorrow, so we're probably going to try some more things, but I think we're right about on pace for where we need to be.
Cool. Give everybody a quick bio about yourself so they know where you started at. Granted, that wasn't that long ago, being only, what, 17 years old? No, 16.
16, actually, yeah. Well, I started out on road courses in go-karts up in Massachusetts, and then when I was 10 years old, I started going down to North Carolina to compete in bandoleros down at the summer shootout and the winter heat. I moved up to legend cars, and from there I moved up to late model stocks. Last year I ran some late model stocks and the K&N Pro Series East full-time. And now this year I'm in my second full-time year of the K&N Pro Series East, and now I'm doing some super late models for Kyle Busch Motorsports and a few late model stock races too.
Have you been to South Boston before? Or is this your first time there?
I have been there actually quite a few times, but this is my first time going there with Kyle Busch.
What did you drive there in the past?
What's that?
So what did you race there in the other times you've been there?
I've always raced late model stocks there. I did race a legend car there once a few years back, but mostly late model stock. And this Denny Hamlin short track showdown that I'm at this week, this is also in a late model stock.
Oh yeah, well I knew that. I wasn't sure if you'd been to that place before. I was going to ask how you liked it, whether you adapted pretty well. You said you took some big swings today. You think you're close?
I do think we're close. There were a few guys here, like Timothy Peters and Lee Pulliam, that were maybe just a tick quicker. So I think we'd like to pick up just a little bit more time. But as far as the balance of the car, I think we're right about where we need to be. We did take some big swings at it, just trying some stuff, you know, new team, new driver, we're just working stuff out, seeing what driving style I like better. So they're trying to adjust the setup to me. But I think by the end of the day, we had it pretty dialed in.
Those two guys you mentioned have raced there forever, so it should not be a surprise that they may be the best right now. Yeah, if you can be as good there as those two guys are, you'll be in pretty good shape.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, those guys, Lee Pulliam, Peyton Sellers, Timothy Peters, they've all probably got, you know, thousands of laps there. And I have a few races there myself. That's probably the track I raced at the most last year, but it still certainly doesn't compare anywhere near to the amount of laps that those guys have there. So I think you would expect them to have a little bit of an edge, but I'm hoping by tomorrow at the end of another 3 hours of practice, I'd like to be on pace with those guys because there's a few of them there that seem to be pretty close in time, and I think when it comes down to the end of the race, I think it's those guys that are going to be competing for the win. So we're trying to get up there with them, and I think with the KBM team, I have no doubt in my mind that we'll be able to.
Colin, do you have a question?
Hey Kaz, this is Colin, local legend car driver here in Virginia. What's an important racing skill that you learned while you ran in legend cars?
Well, legend cars really just teach you two things. They teach you some really good car control. A lot of people go dirt racing to learn car control, which obviously helps a ton because you have really no grip. But in the legend cars, with as much power as they have, for what little grip and little weight they have, you can definitely buzz the tires pretty good off the corner. So they really teach you a lot of car control, and they teach you to have quick hands. The other thing is, when it comes down to the end of a race in a stock car, when you're going all out as hard as you can, that's basically what a legend car race is. It's pretty much the last 20 laps of a stock car race, except the legend car race is only 20 laps. So right from the drop of the green flag, you got to get up on the wheel. So I guess it's pretty much simulating like a restart with 20 to go in a late model stock or a K&N car. So those two things I pretty much take into consideration in every single race that I run, and they both really help me. Legend cars, with the competition and the difficult nature of the cars to drive, both of that I think really helps a lot of great drivers come out of those series.
Now they say that there's the three things that really help a driver, or depend on how well he's going to do. And the percentages are broke up into how well the driver is, luck, and the type of car he has. Now, and the percentage in a normal race day, what would you say is luck, your skill, and your car?
Well, honestly, I think luck can differ depending on the person, and I think a lot of that has to do with skill. I think a lot of people end up having bad luck a lot more often, and I think a lot of times it has to do with the driver and the car itself. So luck, I'm not really sure if that's a huge part. However, other cars on the track, you can't really control them, so anybody could end your day at any point, so I guess that is a little bit of luck. But I think it also depends on the size of the track and the driving style of the track. Like I know a smaller track, like in the K&N cars at Greenville Pickens, for instance, with the way it's a small flat track, the car matters quite a bit because it's all mechanical grip that you're trying to generate there. Whereas at a place like Dover or Bristol, there's a lot up to the driver with their right foot of how to control the car around that track, because you're hardly turning your wheel. You're really controlling the car with your throttle pedal. So I think at a track like that, you can probably, get by mostly on driver and less on car. But I guess luck, of course, plays a role at every track that you go to.
Yeah, and what you said about how one driver can ruin your day. We were recently at Langley, and this one girl, she was racing fine, and then one person did one wrong move, and her car got completely totaled, and that was just like timing laps and warm-up laps. She hadn't even gotten to race, and she was really frustrated about that something can happen that quickly. So that is also a really huge factor. Sometimes you really can't control those other things and factors.
Well, yeah, but at Bristol the other night, with 10 or 12 to go, Kurt Busch, who pitted for some unfathomable reason, Kurt Busch runs in the back of Carl Edwards, who had gotten a little bit loose. And now, was that bad luck, or was that bad driving? What do you think? You've raced these cars more than we have. Is what happened to Kurt Busch the other night at Bristol, was that bad luck or bad driving?
Well, it's hard to say. I was watching the replays of that, and the camera angle they had, I couldn't really tell exactly how far back Kurt Busch was when it happened. I think everybody's initial reaction is, what was Kurt doing? Why didn't he slow down? But I can tell you, on a track like Bristol, being on the track is totally different than what it looks like on TV, and totally different than what it looks like from the infield or the stand. That place really, really moves quick. You can't see but probably 10 feet in front of you because of the banking, and you are going through those corners like you're in a rocket ship. So honestly, even though Kurt Busch was pretty far back from Carl Edwards when that happened, I totally understand how that came up so fast. There was really no time for him to react. So I think that was just a racing deal. I think Kurt Busch just ended up getting caught up in that. I didn't really see anything that he could have done better. But I do agree that on TV, it kind of looked like he had plenty of time to react, but with the banking there, he probably couldn't see it until he was, probably 2 car lengths away from it, and he was going 140, so there wasn't a whole lot for him to do.
Does that also explain what happened to Kevin Harvick, who seemed to have even more time to avoid the wreck he got involved in? Is it the same principle, same idea?
I absolutely think so. I mean, there's hardly any place on Bristol around the track that you can see far enough ahead for a wreck that you can avoid it. Bristol has a lot to do with luck when it comes to when they're wrecking in front of you. The spotter has to be really good and really quick, because if the spotter hesitates even half a second, that's the difference between you being, in the wreck or plenty far ahead of the wreck to miss it. So you've got the spotter aspect, but also you've got the smoke too. As soon as someone starts spinning, it's really hard to see, and at Bristol you're coming up on it so fast, it's really hard to make a reaction and to avoid the wreck. So I think when people wreck ahead of you at Bristol and you get caught up into it, I think there's very little blame that can go on to the driver, and most can just go onto the circumstance and the track. There's not really much you can do there, but I do think that's part of why fans love it. I mean, as much as drivers hate tearing up cars, I think fans find it pretty exciting. So, and Bristol being a short track, I think all the fans love seeing that. So, I don't think there's much you can do there as the driver.
I got another. Most people moving up in NASCAR these days are bringing, like, say, sponsors with them and all that up into the racing with them. What role do you think has that played in, like, say, your career and all that stuff coming up through the rankings in NASCAR?
What's that? What role did sponsorship play?
Yeah.
It's a little bit cloudy to me here.
Just what role has sponsorship played for you in coming up through the rankings in NASCAR?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, this year we've got Kiklos on board. We haven't had nets on the car yet this year, but that's going to be coming up too. Mm-hmm. We've got a lot of support and help and connections through Toyota as well. So this year, sponsors have been key to us with, getting in on the right teams and surrounding ourselves with the right people. And I think as the year goes on, we're going to start getting some great results, maybe some wins. And really, I think that's a result of all the sponsorship combined, especially as you get into the higher levels, which I haven't quite cracked into yet, but hopefully soon, with the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series. Sponsorship is practically everything there, because you can have a great driver in a super late model or in a K&N car, but if you can't make the sponsorship dollars come together, then it's going to be really difficult for you to move up, because nobody can just give away a free ride. Mm-hmm. There's not too many people that just want to pay for a ride and get nothing out of it, so you really do need a sponsor to be on board with you. So I think that's why it's important to be good on the track, it's important to be fast and get great results, but at the same time it's really important to be marketable and to be open and talk to sponsors and not be afraid to get out there, and at the same time also impress them too and do a good job with what you do. So I think that's a very difficult aspect of racing that a lot of people have a hard time with, but it's probably one of the most important aspects of racing. Because if you have a sponsor and you're not very good, you can still be driving. But if you're very good and you don't have a sponsor, it's going to be really hard to still be driving.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you one final question, not about racing. I don't know, have we talked to you, have you been on the program since the Super Bowl? Do you remember whether you've been on in the last couple, 3 months?
I don't think I've been on since the Super Bowl, but you guys do ask me about the Patriots every single time.
Well, I do. I do, because I want to know, where were you and what were you thinking with 8 seconds to play?
I mean, that, I gotta say, I've told you before, I don't really follow football that closely.
But you gotta follow that game, though.
That was one of the most exciting things I've ever seen on TV in my whole life. That was epic. About 3 times in that game, I saw the game obviously going one way, and then it turned and went the complete opposite way.
Well, at least you watched the game that counted. The rest of the games,
Don't say that.
not that big a deal, but at least you watched the big one.
For not watching football since I watched that one?
Well, no, but I'm saying if you only get to watch one a year, that's the one to watch.
Absolutely.
Particularly if you're a Patriot fan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I know you're happy now. Okay. Well, what else we got for him? We done with him?
Oh, we're going to have the next driver on in a little bit. Let's give you a chance, speaking of sponsors, to thank your sponsors before we let you go until our next interview.
Well, first off, this weekend I've got to thank Toyota Care and Kyle Busch Motorsports. On the K&N side, I've got Kiklos and Ben Kennedy Racing. And of course, I've always got to thank my parents for letting me do this crazy thing called racing.
Hey, Kaz, do me a favor. Are you near Peyton?
With Peyton?
Are you near him?
Peyton Ryan?
Sellers.
Sellers.
Peyton Sellers? I'm not near him right now, but I was pitted right next to him at the track.
Oh, you're not at the track. Oh,
Really odd.
I was gonna
No,
tell
he
you.
just left.
I was gonna tell you to knock him upside his head. Tell him to look at his phone.
Are you trying to get him on the show?
Yeah, I'm trying to get him back on at 7:30.
Yeah, we're trying. Hence trying.
Well, I'm going to be talking football at 7:30, so there.
Oh, Lord, no.
Talk about the draft.
Oh, oh gosh. Oh.
Not really. Hey, listen, thanks for calling in. I know you're busy. You had a busy today. You'll have a busy tomorrow. Now, will you be at Richmond just to watch? Will you be by there just to hang out on Friday and Saturday?
I actually won't be. I'm going to be leaving straight from the race tomorrow night. I'm going to be heading up to New Jersey. I've got a sports car endurance race for 12 hours at New Jersey Motorsports Park.
Oh, okay.
Mazda Miata SCCA race. So that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend, actually. But I'll definitely be watching all the races at Richmond on TV.
Hey, Kaz, somebody told me to tell you hi. It was Paul Pleminos.
Oh, that's the car owner of the Mazda Miata right there.
Okay, yeah, he was texting me through Facebook, and I said, he said, make sure I tell him that you said hi.
That's awesome.
You got him at the last second.
Hey, listen, thanks so much. Good luck tomorrow night. Good luck this weekend when you go for 12 hours.
Yeah. Whew.
That's only half a mile, so when you get to 24 hours, let us know.
We'll probably see him at Langley
All right.
for K&N.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Later, Kaz.
Thanks for having me.
Good night.
Hopefully I'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't get me started on that draft. Oh my
12
goodness.
hours doesn't seem very long if you only run 3 hours at a time.
Well, if you're 3 hours at a time, and if you're running 4 to
12 hours
5 or
Hey,
12 hours straight.
How long does it take to get to South Boston from here? 3 hours.
3 hours, 3.5.
Yeah, it's
I mean-
165 miles.
3
Okay.
hours in the
And
drive
then
is a lot.
take a break, watch the race, and then come back.
It's easy. You young people just aren't as tough as us old guys.
Well, I was figuring with your ancient times that you have, that they might affect you that
Well,
way.
get gas in South Boston if you can.
Is
It's
it a lot-
Or it's cheap.
Is it a lot
Yeah.
cheaper
I
up
mean,
there?
South Hill.
South
Oh yeah,
Hill?
way cheaper.
Oh,
The farther you go west out of Tidewater, the cheaper gas is.
yep.
I got it for $1.97 the other day in
One.
Crew,
Oh my gosh.
which is right near Farmville.
When we went to Massanutten, right outside of the place, the gas was 190, like between 97 and 95. All of us, our jaws at the floor, were like, we might not be at half a tank yet, but we're gonna fill
Yeah,
up.
oh yeah.
We could not believe that gas is under $2. It was just, oh.
All right, who else are you supposed to have here?
Supposed to have Billy
Let's
calling
have
in
Billy.
from Richmond.
I was looking, I was like, okay, because it was 7:15. As soon as he said he had any other questions, I was like, oh gosh, we're gonna have another caller.
No?
But no, well,
Yeah, let's try.
how about that draft? No. Oh. Watch as soon as you finish dialing that other phone's gonna nope. He's gonna try to jinx you on that one. If they get
I'll
voicemails,
let
it's
you
gonna
talk
be
to him
super
because you got
awkward.
it already ready to go.
Hello?
Hello, this is Let's Talk Racing, Billy.
Slow down your
Hey, how's it going?
We're doing good. We're doing great here tonight. Excited to talk to you.
You alright?
Thought we'd give you a call because we were kind of waiting and running out of things randomly to talk about.
Oh, we don't ever run out of things.
Mine is we were here until 7:45, that's why I was waiting.
Well, that's fine. We just thought
I thought I sent you a thing for 7:15.
No, you told me 7:40. You texted me and said 7:15. I thought it was just a reminder. We had originally said 7:45.
Oh goodness.
Roger.
I'm gonna check my email. All right.
I can call right now. That's fine.
Good
We
thing.
got him now.
It's a good thing.
Oh, sorry about that confusion then. Well, Colin here has some questions already lined up for you.
Hey Billy, this is Colin, local electric car driver in Virginia. How did you get into your career path as a track promoter?
Well, actually, I was originally on the media side. Actually, I went to college at Christopher Newport University, so I was all into our journalism and media there, and then I got a job for 3 years at the Richmond Times-Dispatch. I was covering high school sports, and I expressed interest in covering NASCAR, so they let me cover NASCAR when it came to Richmond twice a year. So after that, I was able to get a full-time job at the racetrack, which was really, my dream. I'd been, really wanted to get into the NASCAR industry and really, just enjoy the sport. So I wanted to get into the industry, and they had an opening. I was just lucky enough to get in.
Are other tracks doing the track takeover like Richmond is, or is it just something that's unique only to RIR?
It's unique only to RIR. We're really excited about it. Track takeover this year. Powered by Nationwide. We're going to have Chase Elliott there, do a Q&A, as well as Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Eric Bedingfield is going to be the musical talent as well. So we're really excited about it. It's going to be really cool, and it's a great experience for the fans to get out on the track for the race and hang out and check out some of the cool exhibits and get to walk around. Just, they sign the start-finish line, they sign the walls, and it's really cool to kind of look at the different messages the fans leave, because it's kind of some of them are like go rooting on their favorite driver. They're like some of like draw a big bullseye on the wall and be like whoever they don't like hit here kind of thing. So it's really cool. It's a really cool experience for the fans, and it's a great little feather in our cap for the track to have that as our own.
Yeah, I signed the checkered line.
Yeah,
Usually if I get the chance. Every time. That's been like a little thing that I always make sure I try to put my name on there. Probably really illegible by the time the cars all go over it. Who are you planning for musical talent? I'm really interested in music, so I just thought I'd ask that. Like, do you have the national anthem and everything like that lined up? Or no?
Oh that's all been lined up. I believe, and don't quote me on this, I believe actually a local youngster's going to be singing the national anthem for us on Springfield night.
Nice.
All the musical talent's been signed, and we're really looking forward to it.
Oh, you're funny, Roger. Roger pointed.
Crystal has been trying to get to sing the national anthem somewhere for I don't know how long.
That was Langley. That was not Richmond. Trust me, if anybody happened to be wandering around, I would have jumped up the second I had done it. Oh, don't joke with me about that. Lord, I'd go home and be practicing all night.
Hey, Billy, this is Al Pearce.
Hey, how's it going?
I have a question for you that you may or may not be able to answer.
Oh boy.
Well, there was a time, maybe 8 or 10 years ago, and you may not even been aware of racing back then, but there was a time about 8 or 10 years ago when Richmond had to do nothing but open the doors and guarantee an absolute sellout. They didn't have to do what you did when you came down here with Kerry Tharp back in January or February. They didn't have to do nearly as much marketing as y'all are doing now. Are you kind of aware that you're probably working harder now than anybody ever has at Richmond in the last 8 or 9 years to attract almost the same crowd? I mean, are you aware that things have changed a little bit?
Well, industry-wide, the whole world's changing now. 8 to 10 years ago, there was no social media, there was no Facebook,
Right.
there was no
I
Twitter.
understand, yeah.
So, just even that side of it is just totally different, to gain access to the fans in that medium, be able to say, we had one of our consumer marketing people, her job is all about social media. That was, who would have guessed 8 to 10 years ago that would be a position at a racetrack where, pretty much all you're doing is talking to people on social media. So, it's definitely something we're, aware of, but that doesn't mean, we're certainly working hard to get out, everything, make sure the fans know all the information and, bring them to the track. Because, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's put on a great event for the fans and, making sure they're having fun and being safe and just enjoying the race.
Let me ask you this: what if you met up or you bumped into an older fan who said, I kind of quit going 10 years ago. There's nothing out there for me now. Nothing attracts me. Why should I go out? How would you sell a fan tonight on coming to your racetrack this weekend?
Well, I mean, one of the things I would say is just the racing is so good. The Gen 6 car is just such a great thing on the track now. The how it looks and how it races is just so good. And we've saw that last year. We got the new chase, the relatively new chase, I guess you could say. Bringing in, so you have that excitement. You have that, you don't know 3 weeks out from the end of the season who's absolutely going to win the championship if they just built this insurmountable points advantage. You've got, every race matters. Every race matters. So, I would tell them, hey, come on, you're going to see everyone, all these fans go out and all these drivers rather go out and give it their all every single night. And, it doesn't get much better than 3/4 mile under the light. So, you're going to see those sparks flying and those fenders bent after the night. So, that's what I was telling you is, give it another shot. The NASCAR's done a great job with getting everyone, making the product better. And then, I think the fans have reacted to that.
Let me ask one last question. What if this old fan, however old he is, he hadn't been to a race in 10 years, he's thinking about coming out Saturday night, and he asks you, all right, give me the names of 5 drivers that I would really be excited to see. And he tells you, I saw Gordon back in the day, I know there's some older guys out there, but tell me about these young kids. Who should I come out and watch? Convince me that there are 5 drivers I should come out and watch because they're the real deal. Who are the 5?
Well, you got to point to Kevin Harvick in that number 4 Chevrolet. I mean, he's been just so dominant this year. So, if you want to see a driver who's on top of his game right now, defending Sprint Cup champion, come on out and see him drive. Because, it's something special to see him wheel around Richmond. So, he's got a couple wins there. So, and then I would talk about, a guy like Benny Hamlin. He's a Chesterfield guy, local kid. Grew up in the stands, he's just a talent. You can just tell how special it is at that track, RIR, where he was in the stands, watching as a fan when he was a kid. Bring him out and see Denny race. Yeah, and then I'll talk about a kid like, Chase Elliott. In his second Sprint Cup start, you're seeing the future of, the sport coming up right there. And he ran out, contending for the win, he's still learning, and he's going to do really well in the Xfinity Series. That raced the night before. But you get to see him. You get to see, hey, I was at this kid's second race ever. So outside of that, I was talking about a guy like Carl Edwards. He's coming over to a new team. He's with Joe Gibbs now, and he's been getting better recently. Getting in his groove. So you could say, hey, I saw Carl Edwards first win with his new team. Then I was talking about when this older fan, you're going to talk about a driver like Danica Patrick, who making waves as a female in the sport, and she's got back-to-back top 10s, and she's been getting better at Richmond. So you never know what she may be able to come out with. Because she's in the same stable as a guy like Kevin Harvick. So they're racing. She's got good equipment, and you never know what's happening on Saturday night.
You're a pretty good salesman. I think I might come up Friday and Saturday.
Can't wait to see you after, Alex. It's always a pleasure to have you around.
Now, I had a question. You were talking about with social media. There's so many forms of social media. There's so many different types. Which one would you say that the most fans you reach is on? Because there's Facebook was really the first, and that's still a huge medium for a lot of people. But now you've got Twitter and Instagram. There's so many. Which one would you say you're able to connect with fans the most? And it's the most popular for getting NASCAR to trend?
I think Twitter is definitely it. So many people put so much into Twitter now, and it's available right at your fingertips, literally. Facebook is as well, but I would say definitely Twitter. Because you get that instant, boom, 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 update. But we've been doing a lot with Snapchat recently, and Snapchat, with is kind of coming along. It's been really cool what we've been able to do with Snapchat to reach fans. Facebook, we have still put a lot in that, so it's. I would definitely say Twitter, but we try and reach as many fans as we can on multiple social media platforms.
Because as soon as it's like as soon as you think there's all of them, a new one ends up coming up, So I just thought it was interesting. Like I was sure in my mind that it would be Twitter, because all you have to do is get a couple of really big time drivers to use a hashtag one or twice, and the next thing you know, everybody's using it, and you're in the top 10 trending feeds, and you're being talked about. So that's what's interesting about that platform, is you get one little thing going, and next thing you know, you're being talked about almost everywhere.
See, I think I think y'all should go put up posters on telephone poles again. I mean, that's what Paul Sawyer and Kenny Campbell used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
I used to see. I'm serious. I've been around long enough that I have seen promotions posters on telephone poles about a race coming up. So that's a great way to get people, don't you think?
Yeah, but it is Earth Day today. Let's think about saving the trees a little bit. I'm sorry, I had to say that it was Earth Day. I had to kind of throw that in there.
I think Colin has a serious question.
So what are the plans on the backstretch for filling up the grandstands? Because I've seen where they've taken seats, where you guys have taken seats down over in turn 3. So, could they sell tickets, say for $10 a piece to fill up the backstretch a little bit more?
Well, I can't speak to any kind of pricing or anything like that. It's not my department, but we're definitely always talking to the fans about how great the racing actually is, no matter where you are at Richmond. We had a lot of we did take down those stands, but hey, we put up a really cool turn 3 fun zone over there with a little bar and place where you can hang out. Not to mention the quality Ferris wheel. You can actually ride during the race, which is a really cool vantage point to see the race from. You have to be on a Ferris wheel and look over the entire track. So it's almost like a kind of addition by subtraction kind of thing. So it's but yeah, I've been a fan of Richmond. I've sat pretty much everywhere around Richmond you could go. So and I loved every second of watching Richmond. So no matter where you sit at RAR, it's going to be a great year, a great race.
Did you go to the White House yesterday?
No, unfortunately I didn't. I was stuck in the office working.
But one of your guys went up. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I had been to all of them. I just, with Bristol being so long and dragged out, and knowing I had a long week coming up, I didn't go yesterday. But first one I missed. I kind of hate that I wasn't there. But anyway.
Oh, do you have a question?
No, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna sign off and tell Billy I'll see him Friday morning in the media center.
Sounds great. We'll see you there.
All right.
I'll be there.
Well, you have one, Roger?
No, did you used to work for the Richmond Times Dispatch?
Yes, I used to
You told us that, yeah.
Oh, I was out of the room. Oh, Billy, it was my bad. I looked on the computer where I was doing the email to you about the time change, and realized that Microsoft, in their infinite wisdom, did a reboot after an update, and it was it was sitting in my draft folder. So I apologize.
That's the closest you're going to get to him singing, "Yeah, I messed up, so take it."
It's okay, no worries at all.
All right, Billy, we'll see you Friday morning.
Sounds great.
All right.
Thanks so much.
There. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You can work that because I don't.
Where do you go, Raj? 7:15 to 7:45. It's a couple of numbers are the same.
Well, Johanna Long, when I
Or
finally
7 and 5
when
are
they
the
finally
same.
got back to me, it was okay. We got to do 7:45, so I did a thing, and it went poo-poo dust.
All right, racing news. The most recent thing in racing news, which is really sad that happened in the NASCAR and Fox world, was Steve Burns. That happening.
Passed away.
Yeah, passed away. Prayers for his family right now. Anybody who knew him. I know that's a difficult thing and a tough time to be going through, and it's something that really shocked, I guess, people. And we knew someone who was kind of affected by it, who's close to home. We just had her on the show last Wednesday, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Or Wednesday before maybe.
Or was it the Wednesday before?
Yeah.
Because, Caitlin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Caitlin.
I'm pretty sure her name was Caitlin.
Where was she last weekend too? They showed her name listed
I know.
at Bristol, but I never saw her on anything on there. Was she down there?
She might be doing those Monday night follow-up shows where
Yeah.
she interviews people and talks about things that happened either after the race or. But they don't. I don't think she was on last weekend. Because she was there
Yeah.
doing stuff.
Because I know at Martinsville on Cup Day she's always running up and down
Yeah, she's
doing
everywhere.
interviews with whoever, with whatever's happening on the
Yeah.
track. So I was surprised because they were doing the pick for who was going to finish and everything, and they had her listed as winning one of them. And as they were going through everybody, they didn't go and get her vote. And that's why.
It's funny that after almost a full year of not winning a race, Toyota suddenly won 2 in a row.
I know. And the Toyota odor thing is coming up at RIR.
No,
I'm sorry, I'm just like,
you can't fix it.
I know you can't, but
You can determine who doesn't win.
I'm throwing it out there.
You can fix who doesn't win with the pit road speeding penalty
Oh yeah.
or anything else you want to.
Or you
Good
hitting
cut.
someone on the
Getting
pit road.
Or there's a caution that nobody realized and.
Stopping on
For
the
some
track.
random debris
The
that
guy-
happens to fall onto the track like a Gatorade bottle.
Guy climbing the fence.
I'm sorry. That as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Why do we have a caution now?" And I like looked, and it's like a random Gatorade bottle ended up showing up magically out of nowhere. I was like, "Seriously? Okay."
Well, there was a race many years ago when Jimmy Spencer actually threw out roll bar padding in Michigan to get a caution that he needed.
Yeah, I remember.
And they had it right on. It's so dumb. I mean,
That's just
Spencer's not the smartest guy in the world anyway. But, I mean, seriously. I mean, if every race is televised, listen to me.
Ow.
If every race is televised and cameras are looking at almost every car, how do you expect to be able to take roll bar padding and throw it out the right side window? Because back then they didn't have right side
Maybe
windows.
a glitch
Yeah.
might have magically happened at the right point, and he thought he was not going to be seen. You never
You
know.
can't, you just, no.
try to avoid going a lap down.
Well, yeah, he needed the caution and
Yeah.
he got one. But when they figured out why, I think they held him a lap. They might have sent him down pit road
I
a
thought
second time.
they did.
But that was long ago. That was 15
I'm
years ago. maybe.
Yeah.
I'm sure somewhere there's got to be a show on that somebody's collected all the stupid stuff drivers
This
have
is done
done
in the past
during
years.
races. I mean, Sterling Marlin hopping out trying to tug off his fender well, during a red flag. You know, I mean,
Well, in his case, he had no choice. He had no choice. I don't believe the car would have made another lap or two with it rubbing.
yeah.
And even though he came down
I
pit
know.
road afterward, he wasn't going to win anyway. He might as well, Who won that race, by the way?
Ward Burton.
Ward Burton.
Ward.
Wow,
Whoa.
you took that right like bam.
For Bill Davis.
I just
What
knew
it
you were
called?
gonna spit that out, and she just darn beat me to it.
Had a good call.
No, don't be. That was great. That was great.
And the other question is, did Jimmy Johnson intentionally wreck Jeb Burton the other night? It sure looked like it.
Yeah.
It's
That's one of the questions that I'd like to ask next with this next person. I'm hoping to.
I mean, he certainly sent a message.
To Jeb.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
out of the damn way.
Like, yo,
Yeah.
get it down out of the way so I can keep racing.
you are in my.
That's what they got the move over flag for.
got.
And how
To
do
the bottom.
you think Roger Penske felt watching both of
On
his
lap
cars go out?
13. Like lap
Crazy.
14. Early too.
Sound like something Darrell would do back when he and Schrader
Jeez.
and Bodine drove for Rick Hendrick.
I think Ray got loose though. That was
Oh yeah.
he got loose on that one.
Yeah,
But he may have been right. It may have been wetter than it should have been.
Yeah, maybe a little weepy in that area. Or
Well,
something.
I think NASCAR. I think the network wanted to get that thing started as early as they could,
Yeah,
Get
Just
as
to
many-
hook
get as many
people
laps
in.
as possible.
yeah.
just to hook people in,
'Cause they
thinking, okay, if we start and we don't get very far, they can stay with us and talk to all, you know, they're going to,
Yeah.
the network will stay with us until what would normally have been the end time.
Right.
We got all these commercials we got to put on the air.
Yep.
We got all this advertisement we've got committed. So they had to stay on the air, I think, what I've been told, they have to stay on the air until the race ordinarily would have been over.
Right,
Yeah.
like at
To
6:30.
get rid of all the
or something
commercials
like that,
they bought.
Because
took
if
money
they
for it.
don't, then there goes all
yeah.
that.
I wonder if there's a disclaimer that we
And
reduce
then
your
when they,
rates. Or,
then when they came back, they had a caution with 10 to go or 7 to
It
go.
started raining.
Why did they even go to a red flag and a restart? I mean, think about it. The guy who was leading was going to win the race almost anyway. Kendrick.
yeah.
He had been that good late. And, you know,
Larson had a good car though.
I don't know that anybody, well, I don't know that anybody
15-second lap.
would have complained if they had just called it, okay, you know, it's raining again, it's 20 to 11, we've been here 18 hours, let's go
Let's
home.
call it a
Who,
day.
who,
Nope.
who finished ninth, by the way, Al? Do you remember?
Ninth?
Yeah,
Did she get that far up?
I believe so.
Okay, because she was 14th or so.
When
Yeah.
he mentioned her, I was just
No,
looking
no.
at you, I was looking at you the whole time, like, okay.
She was 14th or 15th with 5 to go.
Mention
Then
your
Carl
favorite
blew,
person.
wrecked out.
Yep,
Then Kurt wrecked out.
yep.
Stenhouse, I think, pitted maybe. So she
Yeah.
gained a bunch of positions without doing anything.
Yeah,
But, you know,
But
who
she
else did the
maintained
same
it.
thing?
But
Yeah.
she kept it, like
Who else
Roger
did the
said.
same thing?
well, Tony.
Who was just ahead of her at the
Tony.
time?
Tony.
Exactly.
But hey, I was just getting ready to say, at least Tony got finally a decent finish.
Yeah.
anyway.
So your guy moved up without doing anything.
That's
And
always
just like
nice.
she moved up without doing anything. But she has not yet led a lap all year. Don't tell me how good she's running.
I didn't say how good she was.
No,
running.
I'm
I
just talking to you. I'm talking to all you people out there.
Oh, okay.
As soon as the word
He's
Danica
directing
was
it to
mentioned,
them and not to me for once.
I was like, oh boy, we're gonna get the Danica talk for a little bit tonight.
No. Qualify well, run up front, pass people, lead laps, and I'll be excited for you.
There you have it, ladies and
That's all you
gentlemen.
gotta do.
That's all you gotta do.
I mean, I wasn't,
Stay out of trouble.
you know, I wasn't excited
Oh,
for any
that-
male. I was not excited for,
Eric?
Stenhouse had a good night.
Yeah,
That's right, somebody else backed up. I wasn't excited for him.
yeah.
You know, I don't care about him, I don't care about her.
What'd you think about
No,
Eric?
What?
Run
You
up, but
don't say.
run up front, lead laps, race instead of ride. That's all I want you to do.
Well, I hate to say, or Tony did at least was up there in the mix anyway. So
He was not in the mix until the last 10 laps, Roger. Look
trying-
at
You,
look
you
at
I'm trying
can't
to make
tell
you-
him that. He's all about to.
I'm trying to make
look at the 50 or the 25 10-lap rundowns where everybody's running at lap 25, 50, 75 all the way through. He was probably 14th to 20th all night long until the very end. So don't tell me he was in the mix all night. He wasn't. He's had 3.
Get him out.
No, I'm just telling you. He's had 3 top 5 finishes since he had the wreck in Iowa. 3. In 48 starts. That ain't Tony.
No,
That is very unlike him.
somebody was telling me, or I think I've seen it, where he's talking about getting back out and starting to racing some of the other stuff again.
I talked to Ricky Craven about Tony. I talked to Richard Petty about Tony. I talked to Eddie Wood about
I
Tony.
think you should stay away from dirt cars.
They have all got different reasons. Ricky Craven says, I'm an example, meaning Ricky. Ricky Craven said, I'm an example of a guy who had a great career going, got hurt, sat out, came back, was never the same.
Yep.
He said Kyle Busch will not be the same when he comes back for the rest of his career. He said subconsciously or psychologically, when you're sitting at home watching somebody else drive your car,
Messing with you.
you suddenly realize, you know what?
I can be replaced.
The world goes on without me. I don't need to be doing this. And he said, Tony Stewart is not the committed, dedicated driver he was before he got hurt in Iowa that year.
Nope.
Richard Petty says he's got too much on his plate. He owns a
Three
sprint car
cars.
team.
Yep.
Right.
He owns a sprint car to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
He owns 3 racetracks.
Yeah.
he recently bought 2 open wheel dirt track
series
organizations
put
to put together.
Yep.
And he's got 3 other cup teams he's worried about.
He's trying to juggle.
And his leg is still screwed up. So
Yeah.
Patty thinks he's just got too much on his plate.
Too much pressure.
Eddie Wood thinks he's got a bad crew chief. He said, you put him with Rodney Childers or put him with Tony Gibson, you'd see a different Tony.
We're having Zippadelli step back in as a crew chief.
Well, Zippadelli's kind of in charge of the whole deal.
I know, but
I think Tony, and Eddie Wood also told me he thought Tony was really happy with the fact that 2 of his cars made the chase. And he don't want to do anything to mess up those relationships.
yeah.
And Tony thinks he can overcome the weakness in his crew chief, who Eddie Wood doesn't even know. Said, who is the crew chief? He said, I don't have any idea, never heard of the guy. I told him Chad Johnson. So I thought he was a football player. Well, there is a Chad Johnson football player, but Eddie said, I just don't think he's got a crew chief that knows what he's doing to suit what Tony needs right now.
Yeah.
End of my rant.
Into your rant.
And that's all you have to say about that, huh?
That's all there is.
It doesn't press the
We got that live, right?
We have a comment in the background here. It says maybe after all the alterations to his leg, it's too short now and he can't push hard enough.
Listen, if that little Mincy kid can run a K&N car, Tony can get in the car. That kid came in, that's cool, he's cool with that. He came to the media center Saturday, Saturday, and they literally had to put like phone books on the chair to get him up there. But let me tell you what, that little kid's a hell of a driver. He is going to really be the real deal.
I thought he was going to get some Xfinity ride or something like that.
He's in K&N right now.
K&N guy right now.
Yeah.
And I'll guarantee you, NASCAR will market him and promote him.
Danica just like it's through the curb.
They would do the same thing for him if he was 7'6". If he was the tallest race driver in history, believe me, they would take him around and show him off like they did Danica 3 years ago.
Getting a piggyback ride.
Which thankfully they've quit doing now.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
it's still kind of bad about it a little bit.
They don't do much of
Could you
it
imagine trying to fit somebody 7'6" in a cup car?
Oh, my God.
It can
That'd be a
happen.
tight fit.
Now that would be
You could do
funny. Can we try to get somebody who's
I
really
think
tall
Shaq
like
got
that
in-
just to
got
try
in
to
one.
get
Shaq
in
tried
one?
it.
Like, that'd be good.
Well, they just put the seat in the absolute lowest spot they could do it.
I know,
Set
but
it
even
down
then,
lower.
it's
Right
like,
back as far as they
Be in the
can.
back seat.
They could still do it.
If he takes too hard of a bump, he's going to feel
I'll
his
tell you
butt
what,
right
if
off
I
the track.
know.
If he is A, good enough, and B, has enough money to get a ride, they'll find a ride for him.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this sprint car kid that won the Chili Bowl in
Yep.
Tulsa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
So hey,
So
got what it takes. Rock and roll.
Yep.
He's likely
Talent.
one of those that has shown off his talent. Somebody saw it and is taking him under his wing.
well, you know who took him under his wing is Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
He and Larson are buddies.
Good.
So, all right, who are we waiting for?
I was gonna say.
We were hoping for Johanna
I was
still
gonna
trying
say
to
it's
call in.
Johanna.
Another woman late again.
Well, I got to notice that
You
they
know.
got.
You showed up late.
I was not late.
You were not
I
here
did
for-
not walk in when the camera was
You were
running.
not here for the drivers' meeting.
That's right. You go into the rear of the field.
Wow, wasn't here for the drivers meeting.
You don't get to go to the buffet line tonight until the rest of us.
Well,
Oh gosh.
okay then, Al. Okay, all right.
All right, Roger, what should we do? Should we call Marty O'Brien just in case?
Oh sure. Go ahead. Call Marty.
Well, how do you do that?
Hit speaker.
Speaker?
Yep.
See, I'd help you, but you were mean to me.
Oh, that's
That's
ringer.
volume.
Or speaker. That's ringer
Again,
again.
I'd help you, but
Oh.
you were mean to me.
Just dial his number.
Men know everything. We can do it.
Oh, I know. They all gotta pick on me a little bit. Except Colin knows better. He's known me for too long.
Hmm?
He may know it's you and won't answer.
Oh, like I'm in trouble. No.
Well, he might know my number. He doesn't know the office number that well.
It's gonna be awkward if we get voicemail.
No, it wouldn't be the first time.
Oh.
Marty O'Brien with the Daily Press. At the sound of the tone, please leave your name, number, and a short message, and I'll get back with you quickly. Thank you.
You know, Marty, it's
At the
7:50.
tone, please record your message. Recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Oh my gosh.
Marty, it's 7:50 on Wednesday night. You have
I'll
a
try
chance to be
again.
a radio star, and you're not there. So
We'll try again.
Marty,
I'll see you at lunch tomorrow at 12:15.
I think you're in trouble.
All right, we done? We cut him off?
Yeah, you cut him off.
All right, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Bridge phone book redial.
It's got all kinds of fancy buttons.
So Al, what are you interested in the draft? Tell us about the draft.
Oh, I don't care. I just know that all I know is on the draft is that at least one ESPN platform has got draft news around the clock. You can't get away from it. I was at lunch today at a place in Newport News. They had a bunch of TVs, and they had them on different channels, sports channels, and every one had either
The same thing.
a dialogue about the draft or a graphic or coaches or Jameis Winston stealing crab legs or whatever. I mean, you can't. It is the biggest non on the field story every year that you can imagine.
Because whoever gets drafted could be a huge game changer for any team getting either further in the game, getting more games, getting closer towards the Super Bowl. I know it sounds crazy, but one player.
Except,
The
I
number
know,
one
except-
But
pick.
it works the other.
You know what?
I'm a Redskin fan now.
I know, but
It works
that's
the other
hurtful and you
way.
know it.
It works the other way as often as it does the other way.
Yeah, I know.
When
Just don't go for the number one pick.
when was Tom Brady drafted? Just give me a number.
Like late round.
Pick a number.
Okay.
You have no idea.
No, because I'm not interested in him.
I guess late
What I'm
round.
saying, you're
I'm not, so-
you're saying one pick can turn a season around or a team. He was 199.
Wait,
he
I said
was-
late round.
Yeah, he was the last quarterback taken in the 6th round. And look what he's done. Other quarterbacks have been drafted number 1, never hit a lick.
RG3.
Peyton Manning's had a Peyton Manning had a great career. And Lux had a great career.
Yeah.
Also takes one injury.
Roethlisberger wasn't that big a deal.
Newton's kind of balling
Flacco wasn't that big a deal, but did well. Phillip Rivers. Russell Wilson was not a first-round draft choice.
No.
Russell Wilson, I think, went to camp. He wasn't an unsigned free agent. They thought he was going to play baseball.
What about
He's the guy who threw the interception, by the way, in the last play of the Super Bowl.
That was still insane. I can't get over that still.
What about Tebow?
They're talking a lot about him.
Nowhere.
I think Tebow should come back as a tight end.
Yep.
Nowhere does it
Thank
say
you,
being a
Colin.
great college player makes you a great pro.
Now,
He's never said that.
did you hear about what they're doing at the stand at the field now? There's a pretzel vendor there that is making Tebow pretzels.
Oh,
They
Tebow
are him
pretzels.
doing.
This has gone too far now, y'all. Okay,
Tebow
it needs
It
to
made national news, Al. Okay,
stop.
national news for that. I said, geez.
It's been a long time since that's happened. Let it go.
Now Virginia right now, as far as racing goes, is now doing their own basically mini Daytona Speed Weeks, because you're having the Denny Hamlin Foundation race Thursday night,
Yeah.
turning around with the Friday night race at Richmond and the Saturday night race at Richmond.
Woo.
I mean,
That's,
what more can we all ask for in this area?
That's 3 nights.
Yeah, I
I
said
I
mini
don't
mini
consider
speed
South
week.
Boston to be this area.
Ron's
That's a long way from here.
Mini
Shootout
speed
at
week.
Langley.
Not getting that.
Mini.
Then why don't we have something like tonight and last night? To be speed weeks, Roger, you got to have something every night.
Well, I said mini.
You
Well,
missed the menu.
The mini part.
The part where he's using air
Not
quotes
all
back
7
there.
days. We're talking about 3 good days of some excellent racing.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Tony is not racing at this time at Denny Hamlin Foundation race.
It's good for him. Good for him.
Roger
That
said-
race, by the way, will not be at South Boston next year.
No, we're gonna
Right here.
That's my prediction.
Oh, that's your prediction.
Al has made a prediction, folks. You've heard it.
You think it'll be down the street, huh?
I think it'll be down the street.
We'll wait and see.
All
Won't
right, we got just enough time for everybody to give their Richmond picks.
Oof. Richmond
Oh,
picks.
no.
Who's gonna win Richmond?
You're asking me first? Oh
No,
God.
I'll ask him first.
No, so don't ask
Who's gonna
me.
win Richmond? Don't ask for help.
I'm not.
Junior.
All right. You got an 80 in there. Is that with your heart or with your head?
I'm just a Junior fan.
Well, then,
But I said, don't ask me.
I'm gonna go with a stretch and go with Gordon.
Really?
I think Harvick's gonna win. Harvick's been pretty
well,
dominant.
make up your mind. Harvick or
Harvick.
Junior? Okay.
Harvick's been
His
pretty,
heart says
Harvick's been
Junior.
pretty dominant.
Head says Harvick.
Yeah, well, he has been pretty.
If I had to
good.
put money on there, I'd probably say Harvick.
Okay. Who do you think?
My brother's always been a fan of Gordon, so kind of like hopefully.
What do you think?
What do I think? I mean, there's too many people on my family that likes NASCAR. Is gonna say, why did you say that
Get
person?
off of the doggone fence. Do
Carl
something.
Edwards.
Carl Edwards is a good one.
Really?
Carl Edwards. All right. Roger, who do you think?
I told you, Jeff Gordon.
Oh, Gordon.
But I say you said Gordon.
Who do you think?
Peyton,
I think it's gonna be
Peyton,
Harvick.
Harvick.
Peyton-
Two Harvicks.
Peyton wants to know, do you still want him to call?
I say Larson.
You got 5 minutes, buddy.
Kyle Larson.
What?
Oh, okay.
Something there.
And
Short
you?
term.
Truex.
Sure, is that? Could be
He's
good
been
for
pretty
him.
dominant, yeah.
Could be
I'm
good for
surprised
him.
with that team on how well they've
I'd
been
like
doing
to
this
see
year.
Harvick get it though.
All right, Roger, let's go eat. It's time.
Peyton was wanting to know, did you want him to call?
Oh, well, what?
Do you
Peyton
want to
Sellers.
call? He's got 4 minutes.
No.
Oh, you've been shut down by Al.
Ooh, Al done slammed you, Peyton.
The king has
Oh.
spoken, ladies and gentlemen.
What happened to Johanna?
Huh?
What happened to Johanna?
She had a scheduling conflict, but she was still going to try to call in if she could. I mean,
Wanna
with her
get her
finally
next
coming
time?
back out and finally getting Xfinity race in 2015, her first appearance, everybody was trying to jump and grab her. So we see how we rated some places.
I know.
By the way, what happened to the 44 car that got stolen in Atlanta? What happened to that team?
Disappeared.
Are they? I don't even think you've seen them any. Remember, they were supposed to be getting ready for this, getting ready for that. They're getting ready for
Haven't seen them
Texas and
anywhere.
Bristol.
I love the story.
Never saw
I mean,
what you're
whole
on
shop
top of
is-
this
Well,
one?
they shut the doors and the crews all quit, so
Is that what it is?
they're done.
Yeah.
mm-mm.
So if you want your own race team out, you can maybe
No,
get one.
no,
If you
I-
need- if you
I
need a driver, I'm
I
right
don't
here.
know that they know who owns that team. It may be a bank in New Jersey.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's some bank may own them.
Al, if you bought that team, I'll be the first driver.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, Daddy brings money. He's
Yeah.
short.
Hello, Dad.
This
Oh, we
round.
keep forgetting. We keep forgetting Brandon Goodovic's gonna run the Xfinity.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Brandon's going to run out at Richmond. This is his second Xfinity race, so well, I'm sure we'll all be visiting him and
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
giving him some kudos for that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Okay,
All
8 o'clock.
right. Bye, everybody.
Almost 8 o'clock.
2 minutes out.
You got 2 minutes.
3 minutes.
Well, 3 minutes. Can you stretch out 3 minutes?
If you got here on time, we would have started early. We'd be done by now.
You know Al.
It's easy.
It's nice to see you too.
We can just say we'll catch everybody next week on Let's Talk a Race.
Not me. I'll be in California.
Oh, now you gotta rub that
Bring me some
in.
In-N-Out burgers, man.
I know what you'll be doing. I'll say that. I know what
FedEx
you'll
them suckers, put them in a
be chowing on them.
Overnight it.
Freeze dried.
freeze dried suckers. There you go.
It won't be
Y'all
the
don't
same.
deserve them.
Oh, ow.
You don't appreciate
Hold on. I was a sponsor on this ride, so I should get something out of this.
Well, yeah, so 80 other people will sponsor it too.
But I'm the only one asking for just a burger.
That's right.
See, simple.
Anywho.
You know, if I put one in the back of my motorcycle on Saturday, well, I tell you what, by the following Saturday,
Get some dry ice, Al, and freeze that sucker because you can always thaw it.
No, now Roger, not to be. I don't think he likes you that much now.
all right.
Anywho, all right. We'll see everybody next week on Let's Talk Racing,
Bye.
except for Al
Except for Al.
in California.
Woo-hoo.
Good night, everybody.